My child, lean in and listen closely. What I am about to reveal is not ancient history, nor is it some distant prophecy waiting on the horizon. This began only moments ago while you were simply living your day. It is fresh. It is deliberate. It is so intentional that it sent a tremor through the unseen realm, even as the visible world around you carried on without a clue. Yes, just 15 minutes ago, a sequence was set into motion. Something dark was crafted with your name attached to it. While everything around you appears normal, heaven knows exactly what shifted. A meeting took place, quiet, hidden, carefully concealed from every natural eye. But it was never hidden from me. A decision was sealed in the shadows. An agreement was forged in the dark, and the instant their pact settled, the air around you grew heavy with a pressure you could not explain. That sudden uneasiness, that unexplained weight in your chest, that wave of discomfort that had no logical source. It was not your imagination. It was the echo of their scheme moving through the spiritual atmosphere toward you. Understand this clearly. This was not careless gossip, not emotional venting, not random frustration spoken in passing. This was structured, calculated, cold, the kind of strategic planning that only feels safe under the cover of darkness. Two individuals met behind closed doors with one shared intention: to wound you without ever being seen holding the weapon. They believed silence would protect them. They believed thick walls would guard their whispers. They believed secrecy guaranteed success. But they forgot one unshakable truth. I am the God who hears every word spoken in shadow before it ever reaches the light. And because I love you, because I will not allow you to be ambushed, I am exposing it now. In that room sat a woman and a man, not strangers, not random names. These are people who know you, people bound together by jealousy, fear, and deep insecurity. The woman is the architect. She conceived the plan. The moment she saw you rise, something fractured inside her. The instant she sensed favor moving in your direction, bitterness took root. When she realized your destiny carried more weight, more grace, more light than her own ambitions ever could, she chose envy over healing. She could not bear to watch you flourish. She could not accept that you were stepping into a level of grace she never cultivated within herself. So instead of confronting her own brokenness, she targeted you. Instead of humbling her heart, she hid behind manipulation. She twisted your name to serve her jealousy. But she did not act alone. Across from her sat a man whose heart bends easily under influence, a man with a pattern of yielding to darker persuasion. She chose him intentionally, not for strength, not for integrity, but for usefulness. He is easily steered, easily persuaded, easily weaponized. He does not carry a weapon you can see. He carries something subtler, something spiritual, and he agreed to use it. His tongue, his sharpened thoughts, and his projected intentions move like invisible arrows in the spirit, aimed straight at your peace. 15 minutes ago, she handed him the strategy, outlining what she believed would be your downfall. 15 minutes ago, he agreed. In that brief window, a pact was sealed over your life that no human ear was meant to hear. But you are hearing it now because I will not allow you to walk blind into a battlefield I have already seen. They believed their scheme would stay buried. They believed their darkness would remain detached from your reality. Yet as she leaned in and whispered every toxic detail, as he nodded in agreement, and their conspiracy took shape, heaven felt the vibration of their words. The angels paused, darkness stirred in anticipation, and I intervened immediately. You do not belong to the shadows. You never have. You are mine, and I guard what is mine. I know the questions rising in your heart. What did they decide? Why were you chosen? Why now? What could they possibly gain from trying to wound you? To understand that, you must look deeper than the visible world. This is not rooted in your past. It is not about your mistakes. It is not even about your current circumstances. The enemy does not waste resources on what cannot be changed. He strikes where he detects potential. You are being targeted because of your future, There is something within you, a calling, a legacy, a divine imprint woven into your very identity, that shines in the spiritual realm. She sensed it but could not comprehend it, because envy clouded her perception. He agreed to attack it without even understanding what he was being used to fight. Darkness has recognized it long before you did. There is a mantle on your life that threatens generational cycles. You are not living only for yourself. There is purpose in you that unsettles forces working against your bloodline. There is authority forming in you that disrupts systems built on confusion and chaos. Your destiny carries weight. It carries power. It cannot be ignored. That is why the plot was urgent. That is why it was precise. That is why they felt compelled to act immediately. They sensed movement around you. They saw the increase of light, and fear drove their response. But here is the truth you must hold with absolute certainty. I stepped between you and their intention before it could breathe, before their words could travel, before their curses could form, before their agreement could take root. I intercepted it. She conceived destruction in her heart. He agreed to release it with his words. But I dismantled it before it ever reached you. It collapsed before it could touch your spirit. And this is not the end. What they crafted in darkness will be exposed in a way they never anticipated. What they whispered in secret will recoil. What they aimed at you will return to them. Their attack will become the beginning of their unraveling. Understand this clearly. Their strategy was never about your present moment. It was aimed at your future. Now that you know who stood behind that agreement formed 15 minutes ago, you must understand why the attack carried such urgency, such calculation, and such secrecy. Because what is ahead of you is far greater than what tried to rise against you. What they discussed in that closed room was not small. It was not an emotional flare-up. It was not petty jealousy that would fade by morning. This was initiated because the timing of your life has shifted. You may not have recognized it yet, but something changed. Quietly, subtly, without announcement. A door opened, a spiritual gate unlocked. Heaven adjusted a schedule in your favor, and the instant that shift occurred, darkness took notice. The enemy does not strike at random. He observes, he studies, he calculates, he waits until momentum begins to build around you. Then he reacts. 15 minutes ago, those two individuals sat down as instruments of a larger agenda they barely understand. They thought they were acting on personal emotion. In reality, they were responding to spiritual movement. Before I reveal more, you must understand why. You carry something that was never designed to remain small. Your calling has awakened. Your destiny has begun to stretch beyond generational limitations. There is movement in your spirit, growth in your discernment, strength in your resilience. She sensed it before you fully did. She felt the elevation forming around you. She saw your confidence sharpening. She recognized your rise, and it exposed her insecurity. What she lacked confronted her every time she looked at you. Jealousy hardened into bitterness. Bitterness matured into resentment. Resentment deepened into hatred. And hatred, when left unchecked, always produces action. That action is what gave birth to the meeting 15 minutes ago. The man is different. He is not the architect. He is the executor. He does what others hesitate to do openly. He does not understand spiritual darkness, but he yields to it. He has used words before to undermine others. He has allowed envy to shape his thoughts. But this agreement went further than anything he has done before. This time he aimed at you. He directed his words, his thoughts, his intentions, his energy. But hear this clearly. None of it reached you. Before the first curse could travel, I blocked it. Before the first destructive word formed, I intercepted it. Before his intention could take structure in the spirit, I dismantled it. He believed he fired the first shot. He believed he initiated damage. He believed he triggered something that would derail your destiny. He was wrong. He does not understand that I stand guard over your life. He does not see how I shift circumstances beneath your feet when darkness attempts to strike. He does not realize that every scheme constructed in secret collapses before it touches you. And you must understand this as well. You are not targeted because you are weak. You are targeted because you are chosen. The attack was not formed because you are vulnerable. It was formed because your destiny is advancing. The enemy uses spiritually blind people to carry out plans they cannot comprehend. That is what happened 15 minutes ago. She moved from jealousy, but deeper than that, darkness provoked her insecurity. He acted from weakness, but deeper than that, the enemy manipulated his fractures. They saw only personal grievances. The enemy saw potential disruption, and I see the eternal outcome. And now the truth becomes even more serious. My child, the plan they formed was layered. It was meant to strike you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, even generationally. Their agreement was not about your present situation. It was aimed at your future. She wanted your momentum crushed, your influence dimmed, your name questioned. She wanted people to doubt you. She wanted your confidence shaken, your clarity blurred, your peace disturbed. She believed she could disrupt what was forming around you. But she does not understand this truth. You are walking in a timeline I established long before she drew breath. She cannot stop what I ordained. She cannot delay what I scheduled. She cannot uproot what I planted. And the man believed he had authority to damage your spirit. He believed his words could interfere with your destiny. What he failed to understand is this: your spirit is covered, your name is guarded, your path is secured in my hand. No word formed against you carries weight in my presence. Now you must understand what they intended, because the enemy fears awareness. When you see clearly, his strategy weakens. When revelation comes, his grip loosens. Their design was isolation. They wanted you to feel alone, misunderstood, disconnected. They wanted relationships to shift without explanation. They wanted confusion to cloud your interactions. They wanted doors to close suddenly, opportunities to slip away, a heaviness to settle on your chest without reason. Why? Because isolation creates distraction. Distraction creates delay. But they failed. Yes, you felt pressure. Yes, something felt off. Yes, the atmosphere seemed heavier. But your spirit remained connected to me. Your sensitivity guarded you. Your discomfort alerted you. What you felt was not weakness. It was discernment responding to unseen activity. Even without details, your spirit recognized movement against you. Now you know the truth. An agreement was made. Your name was spoken in shadows. Your destiny was targeted. But the moment they agreed, I overruled. Where my authority stands, every opposing voice loses power. And this goes deeper. What stirred heaven was not only their whisper, not only their hidden plan, not only the deception behind controlled smiles. What moved the unseen realm was timing. The enemy does not mobilize against stagnation. He does not panic over people who remain stuck. He reacts when movement begins. Your season shifted. 15 minutes before their meeting, heaven had already initiated something on your behalf. A release, a breakthrough, a lifting, an appointment aligned with your calling, a transition that alters direction. Your name aligned with a new spiritual timeline. Darkness sensed it and reacted with urgency. That is why she felt compelled to act. That is why he agreed so quickly. That is why the meeting was sudden. That is why the strategy felt sharp and immediate. They were responding to movement they could not stop. It was not coincidence. It was a reaction. Heaven responded because an attack was initiated at the exact moment your destiny advanced. Angels were mobilized because a strike was attempted at the precise second a door opened for you. My presence moved because the enemy tried to intercept a blessing that had already been released with your name on it. Listen carefully. When they spoke your name in darkness, your name was spoken in heaven at the same time, not in secrecy, not in fear, but in authority, in purpose, in clarity. Your name resounded before my throne, and the moment it did, something shifted around you. You may not have seen it, but you felt it. The heaviness, the swirl of thoughts, the emotional pressure, the restlessness that made no sense. That was not imagination. It was the collision of two agendas, one formed in darkness, one established in heaven, and heaven prevailed. Now understand why the timing was so exact. What rests inside you is not ordinary. Your anointing is intentional. Your calling is deliberate. There is generational weight attached to your life. Something within you threatens cycles that have held your family bound. Something in you disrupts patterns that were meant to continue. The enemy recognized it before you did. He saw the shift in your spirit. He saw growth forming where weakness once lived. He saw awakening. He saw protection increasing. He saw your discernment sharpening. He saw endurance strengthening. He saw transformation unfolding. What you called struggle, he identified as development. What you called confusion, he recognized as transition. What you called pressure, he understood as activation. And when he realized you were stepping into who I designed you to be, he calculated that delay was his only option. If he waited, your momentum would become unstoppable. So he influenced the vulnerable. He stirred jealousy in the woman. He amplified insecurity. He clouded the man's discernment. He exploited their fractures. He did not need them to comprehend the full strategy. He only needed their agreement. The moment they aligned with it, the spiritual realm reacted. But heaven did not react in fear. Heaven moved in defense, in activation, in formation. When darkness attempted to rise against you, angels repositioned. A wall of fire formed around you. A shield covered your spirit. Every word aimed at you shattered before reaching your atmosphere. Every intention dissolved on contact with my authority. Their strategy lost power the instant I intervened. Now understand the deeper motive. The attack was never about today, it was aimed at tomorrow. The enemy was not interested in momentary emotional pain. He sought delay. He targeted your future authority, your future influence, your future impact. He aimed at the seed within you, not the visible fruit. Because fruit can recover after a storm. But he knows that if the seed fully matures, it will produce something he cannot control, cannot corrupt, and cannot stop. If a seed is destroyed, generations are cut off. And you, my child, are carrying a generational shift, whether you fully recognize it yet or not. That is why everything felt intense, why relationships shifted without warning, why certain doors closed suddenly while others opened just as fast. You were not facing a simple emotional disturbance. You were experiencing spiritual resistance because your destiny activated. But hear this with clarity. Their plan failed the moment they formed it. I stepped between you and every dark intention. I intercepted every spiritual bullet. I silenced every whisper released against your name. I disrupted their timing and overturned their assignment. And now the shift in your favor is greater than the attack ever was. What they meant for destruction is becoming elevation. Darkness touched your name and heaven responded. Jealousy rose in her heart and justice awakened in mine. He aimed his spiritual weapon, and I stood before you as a wall of fire. They prepared for your fall. I prepared for your rise. The very attack they crafted will become the catalyst for your breakthrough. The trap they set will expose them. Heaven is not quietly adjusting this outcome, it is forcefully rewriting it. Her intentions are turning back on her, revealing the condition of her heart to those who once trusted her. His words have lost force, dissolving before they ever reached you and returning empty. But for you, the shift is undeniable. Closed doors are reopening in new ways. What felt like rejection was protection. Those who drifted away are making room for people aligned with loyalty and purpose. The fog is lifting from your mind. The weight on your chest is dissolving. Clarity is returning. Your destiny has accelerated. They tried to slow you down, and I used it to move you forward faster. They tried to bury you, not realizing you are a seed that grows stronger under pressure. The storm is breaking. The assignment is cancelled. The resistance has lost authority. You are stepping into victory. Not hidden, not subtle, but visible. Undeniable, powerful enough that even those who opposed you will recognize it. Lift your head, steady your spirit, move forward without fear. The threat has passed. Protection surrounds you. You were targeted, but you are guarded. You were attacked, but you are appointed. Your story does not close in darkness, it culminates in glory. If this message confirms what your spirit has already sensed, and you want to continue receiving these prophetic revelations, subscribe now. Do not miss what is unfolding next. Step forward and walk fully in your victory.